everybody! So I am back. I am going to be talking about text-based instruction and how you can use that in the classroom, especially with your ELLs, but this is also a good thing for the whole classroom with your students. Also, what's cool about text-based instruction is that you can use it from kindergarten all the way up into your 12th grade learners. So this is actually something for everybody to do. Text-based instruction, it's all about reading, getting to know the text that you're reading, and you being the teacher providing your students with the appropriate text. It's actually going to put text in the center of the focus in your classroom, focusing on just the text. This is the center of everything, and this is where your kids are going to learn based off of that text. You want to make sure that you are understanding the meaning of the text that you are providing your students. That is the most important thing for you to do, because if you are not understanding the meaning of what you are giving your students, well, your students aren't going to understand that meaning either. It's very important that before you give your students any sort of text, even if it's from the main textbook, you need to understand the meaning of that text, because it's going to help your students process that meaning, and you're going to be able to actually pull out questions, open-ended questions with your students about the text that y'all are going over. Now, this can be done in any content area. So you can bring text-based instruction you can bring it into science, social studies, language arts, your reading classes. The kids are going to be able to discuss, they're going to be able to pull out questions, find the facts, understand what they are reading, and then verbalize back to you, or you can have them write down what they understand from the text that they are reading from. The main thing about text-based instruction is that your students are actually going to be reading to write. A lot of times we find that our students do not know what to write. They can't find main ideas. They can't really build on those details in their writing, or they have trouble with vocabulary in writing. By doing base text instruction, the students are going to be actually able to see multiple text that you are giving them. So let's say that we are working on science. They're learning about the water cycle or the life of a butterfly, the life cycle. They are reading their actual text in science, getting information from there, taking their notes, understanding what they are reading, maybe getting with a partner. If you have your kids in groups, they can talk about what they have read in groups. Ask them questions, ask them open-ended questions. You do not want to close these questions down. You do not want to just give them multiple choice questions on what they are learning. We want to pull out that information, and we want them to have comprehension and understanding from what they are reading. You, as a teacher, are also going to be providing other texts that go along with what you are reading in science. So if you are pulling out an article from a magazine or from a newspaper, make sure it's along with a theme. So if the theme is the life cycle, well, then you're pulling out that article and it's going along with the life cycle of the plant or the life cycle of a butterfly, and you are focusing on what they are learning. So let's say they're gathering information from that article and they are gathering information from the text. Well, when you finally go back to ask them the main idea, the prompt of what they are going to be writing, what is a life cycle? How is it helping the environment? Is this what we need for our environment? How is it helping you? Asking them questions, the kids are finding those answers in their text. So they're always going back, they're always going to have the evidence. Why? Because they have looked at multiple pieces of text within the theme that they are reading for science, and they know how to answer it, and they are understanding what they are reading. Why this is helpful for students is because, especially with our ELL students, we want to know that they are comprehending the reading. We want to know that they are comprehending the content, the area that we are teaching. When you only give your students multiple choice questions, true or false questions, you're not building on that high order thinking skills. You're not helping your students grow in language, vocabulary, writing, which is really important. And you're not helping them grow in discussions with just speaking to their peers. This is very helpful for you to see what they are comprehending, if they are comprehending, and what they still need help with. Like, you are seeing that they are not understanding something, but by just giving them multiple choice questions is not going to help their full understanding of what the reading is entailing to them. You can actually do base text instruction with any theme. You can do a storybook, you can do a chapter book, you can read chapters together as a class, and then they break out into groups, they talk about it to help them comprehend, understand, and it's going to build on their writing skills. This is the most important thing, that it's building on their writing. Before you write down questions for your kids to answer, you want to make sure that you come up with that theme, like I said. If it is the life cycle, the water cycle, if it's for social study, language arts, y'all are reading a book together, make sure that you have that theme. Make sure you have extra content for them to read from, different texts, so articles, newspapers, magazines, anything that's going to help them gather more information, gather more detail for their writing is going to be really helpful. You want to make sure that you are asking literal questions at first before you start going into the more authentic questions that you are going to ask your students. When you see that they can answer literal questions, literal questions are basically answered right from the text. They can see it, they can find it, they can tell you where they found that information from. Authentic questions are going to be more of those open-ended questions, more of those comprehension questions, and more detailed, elaborate questions for the students. This is going to help them or provide for them their writing skills on getting the main idea, staying on that main idea. Why? Because they have those details, they have the evidence from the text that they are reading, and it's helping them with their writing papers. So you, as a teacher, are just guiding them, and then before you know it, you don't even have to tell them, like, well, give me more detail on this, give me more detail on that. The students are going to have the details right in front of them from those first dependent questions of the text, because why? They have read and they have found everything that they need in order to tell you the story that they are going to be telling you. Asking yourself, what are my students going to be learning from the text that I am providing them? What are they going to be answering? Can they find this information? Can they elaborate more on this information when I am asking them these open-ended questions? So it is our job as teachers to make sure that we have everything gathered for the students before they start doing their research, especially if we have younger students in elementary school. Now, if we have middle school, high school, where they are able to jump on the computer, they are able to gather more research for what they are reading, that's awesome. You know, when we show them how to search the net, you want to start off first by your theme, asking your writing prompt question, and they are building towards that main idea of that writing prompt question. That's where they're gathering their ideas, and that's where they are going to be able to base their learning off of text-based instruction. I hope you can do this in your classrooms. Remember, you can do it in all content areas and just have fun.